What's going on, everybody? Goose out of 13th here with another video brought to you by Asian Newsama's roster here on GBO2. We had the F91 because we are officially in Springfest here for 2025. Very much long awaited, both of these guys being miniaturized suits that they actually kept up to scale for the most part. Very surprising. But let us get into the weapons for this bad boy. Obviously, it's a 750 suit, which is also crazy. So not only is it our first native 750, but it's also our first native 5-star 750 here. 750 costs general, ground in space with space compatibility, and priority 2 for the melee. Got a good amount of the kit. One thing that is missing and that is not part of the step up or anything like that is the bazooka that it was featured with in the movie, but it still has the beam rifle, the VSBR, as well as its other usual kit, including the beam shield that we'll get into in a little bit as well. But rifle itself, 3k flat, ammo base, 350 range, and a reload time of 15 seconds. This is also a 2 melee suit, so we got the single and double saber. The double saber actually having a fun feature that we'll get into in a little bit. And the head-mounted Vulcan, stunning in 15 while also having an ammo capacity of 60 and a range of 200. Not too shabby right there. VSBR in particular must stop the fire but can move while focus, can also be used while jumping. Normal fire suppresses while focus fire will penetrate mobile suit and damage enemy units when hitting shields. So piercing on the charge here, but it also has a discharge or Garobi here. This one, and what we'll be getting into when it comes to the VSBR, this can actually be fired mid-air and also has its own ASL ring on it, which is very useful. Which means for the most part, as long as you keep this in the general vicinity and don't really kind of try to push the ring too much, you will get good glancing stuns and other stuff, and it will track. The dual sabers here, when we get into practice, very nice. Have a lot of features on them. The machine cannon, or the mega machine cannon as they call it. Keep in mind that this one, even though it does have ASL and yada yada, this is very much like the cannons that are in the shield for the other, like the Messer. So similarly, you cannot fire these, even though they're integrated into the body, you cannot fire them while boosting. So these you have to kind of just mull around and get the damage out. But, you know, 100 power, ammo is 60, range of 300. So pretty generous on the range on these compared to even, you know, this, which is only 350. So only a 50 meter difference. Kind of reloaded 10 seconds. One thing to keep in mind is that the reload on some of this, pretty generous. In other cases, the beam related stuff, 30 seconds, 20 seconds here for the regular. You know, but 15 seconds here. And 10 and 10 for these. And then we get into the beam shield. So this is a small shield. Still, it is beam base, and it does have something that's a little bit unique, much like the F90 that we had in the other video, where it can actually parry or slap away with it. That's why you see that power there. So in this one, it's actually a case of 2500 flat. Much like we saw with the F90, this one means that it has flat damage as opposed to it being influenced by other things, much like the action and all that with its roll impacts. Fortunately, the shield HP on this a little bit higher, but only by 1000, and a cooldown time of 2.5 when activated, and an overheat of 20. So when selecting this, your mobile suit will activate a beam shield that can attack or defend. If the shield is fired on while activated, damage taken is reduced. In this case, it's reduced. It is not blocked like a typical shield. Using a shield attack to repel enemy mobile suit melee weapons or melee attacks except for tackles or heavy attacks. And that's something you got to keep in mind too. They're being nice, but they're not being that generous. So no heavy attacks from the front can knock the enemy down. And that's something that's interesting to keep in mind because I don't really have it on my account. But I wonder if that's the same for the beam Jew. You know what I'm saying? Where is it? I think he has it. Sorry, this might take me a second. Let's see, Awakened. Is it just up here? Yeah, there it is, Banshee Norn. So, in its other mode, it has this beam Jew. Let me read this. So beam blades are a revolving launcher, are deployable as melee weapons with no rapid combo. Hold the attack button down Then release to briefly enter a guard stance. Thrusters are consumed when this guard stance, but taking melee attack damage and stagger are nullified. The thrusters will fully recover and a counterattack will be made. This effect will not work if hit by launched melee weapons or if tackled. So, the beam juke, because it's literally a charged up stance as opposed to something that you actually do as just a solid swing, actually is a little bit more forgiving. You know, as it says, that there's no caveats about heavy attacks or anything when it parries things. So a little bit reduced, and the fact that it's reduced in that way makes me wonder right out of the gate if they're going to start applying this to other suits that have shields, since we do have a solid shield version for the F90 as well. So one thing to keep in mind for this is that this actually runs not only on shield HP but also a certain duration, unlike the solid one. But again, much like that, it's pretty easy to chew through just because the HP on it in general is pretty low. Still, interesting concept. There's a lot of suits that have medium, small, and large. And as we saw, this is a small shield. The one on the F90 is a medium shield. So I wonder if they'd be willing to do this for large shields. Jim Cannon. And just shit like that, because that would actually breathe a little bit of extra life into a lot of older suits, especially older suits that don't really have all their slots filled when it comes to their weapons. Anyway, moving on here, let us check out the stats and skills. So this has 23k health, and pretty much across the board for the defense, all 28. So ballistic, beam, and melee, all 28 here. Range strength is 37, melee strength is 38, movement speed is 150, top speed is 230, thruster gauge is 75, and turning speed is 84. Going down the parts, again, super even keel. Across the board for close, medium, and long, it is 19. So definitely trying to leave it, I guess, a little bit more flexible. And it's a typical Gundam spread, right? Gundams typically have higher than average stats for everything, but not so much so that they're crazy, and they're typically very middle of the road just because they're meant to have a lot of flexibility. Moving on then to the skills, we have Emergency Evasion System 3, Flight Control Program 4, Fall Prevention System 1, Glide Structure 3, Anti-Blast Stabilizer 1, Melee Composite System Level 1, so uses a melee attack or tackle to cancel hard landings after jumping a high-speed movement, allows for a 2-attack melee combo, damage is reduced during combo attacks. High Speed and Bank Level 2, Maneuver Armor Level 1, Force Injector Level 4, Cooling Efficiency Level 1, High Performance Radar Level 2, Flat Booster Level 2, Raise Counter. So executing a counter with less than 50% HP remaining triggers a special powerful counter. This also temporarily boosts attack and defense for your unit and the allies within the limited area. So if you get kind of counter heavy in here, you can actually do some buffs for yourself and your buddies. Aerial Melee System Level 2, Mobile Melee Program Level 1, so activates while moving forward at high speed for a certain time with a target weapon selected. Melee attacks switch to special melee while activated. Note that thrusters that will not recover while performing melee attacks with this skill. And that's an interesting one. The one that this is meant for, actually really cool, and we'll get into that in a second, but that also makes me curious of something else here. Someone mentioned that this isn't something that's unique to this suit, but that another 5-star actually has it. And it may or may not be the G. That's raise counter. I mean, it has raise counter, but that's not really what we're looking for here. Melee composite. Huh. Maybe it doesn't. In fact, that makes me curious because I think the downswing for both of those is the same. Ain't that some shit then? So mobile melee program, I may or may not have missed it when we were looking there, but this seems like this is a little bit more unique in this situation. And I do like the way that it works, even though it does look very silly. And then finally we have Max Performance. This skill can be activated after destroying a certain number of enemy mobile suits or destruction assists. So in this case, there's a pip of 2 on the gauge, and you'll see it when we're actually in practice. Pressing in touchpad while the skill is ready for activation fully recovers HP for all parts and temporarily activates skills. This increases unit attack power and mobility, and reduces the amount of thruster consumed at the start of and during high-speed movement. While the skill is active, stagger caused by accumulation during high-speed movement is reduced, and position of player mobile suit on enemy radar is delayed, so you got your after images with mass going on there. This skill can be used again after some time has passed. So it has a cooldown, but as long as you're keeping up your aggression and you're getting assists and kills, you'll be able to do it again once it does cool down. And that's pretty much a special mode when it's glowing and does all the extra stuff like that. I don't think it's really super crazy with the after images with mass, like kind of thing where it's just showing like shadows and shit around you. I think that would be really cool, but this game already has enough effects as it is. But let us go into practice and show this bad boy off. See how it goes and just show you just how quick this thing can be in general. One thing that we're going to have to do in order to show off the other mode though is probably kill a couple of these guys so that we can actually get in there. Okay. But first things first, I like how they did the MP or the other colors for this. Someone else, there's a bunch of people on this account, the old hive mind as it were. So regular stuff for that. Oh, did I? Hold on. Timeout. Timeout. Hold on a minute. It's not the right cost. I thought I put it at 750. Apparently not. Let's do this. Okay, let's try again. At least it was faster this time. Put me in there, damn it. Now, obviously, the 750 suits, I get it, but like, man, I wish we could change what's in here, but not too bad on that. The VSBR, good shot there. Decent amount of damage. And like I said before, you can fire these mid-air. The Garobi version, obviously, not so much. You can show out the piercing here as well. Decent chunk over there. Fully charged. Now keep in mind that that's also while hitting the back binders, and also again look how little this guy is. Pretty much his head is up to like the part of the shoulder or like the Zeta's armpit. In similar situations where we have even bigger suits, like if we get in the Char's counterattack era stuff, it's pretty much just up to like their stomach. And even, you know, compared to the Hambrabi, it is right around like its head or chest right here where it's meeting. Pretty crazy. It is truly a miniaturized robot. Now that being said, we got, oh, it feels like it's a little bit slower, but it's got that aunt stab. Look at that shit. 6554. Disgusting. Machine cannons, as you can imagine, decent output, but not a lot of accumulation, but not awful. And obviously you can finish that off with the Vulcans or whatever else. We got the Garobi charge required for these. Bam! And you can steer them for a certain amount. Good amount of output there. And there goes that first pip for max activation. I think we're just gonna murder the shit out of this other dude over here. But we also had the shield. So as you can see, something that you have to keep in mind with this is that because this is using power, it does have a finite amount of time that it can run regardless of how much damage it absorbs. But if you switch out to other things, like you can see here, it will recharge over time. So not too bad in that regard. I mean, a frickin' roller. The downswing on this, not too bad. Kind of nice. I love that both of them are advancing downswings. And if we check this out, and this is something that I've been doing a little bit of. So you see when his arms move out like that, you can do Nanto! And just fly across, and you get a good amount of distance out of it, and obviously you're not using any boost when you do that. So a lot of people will probably be using that for traversal, and of course it does do a decent amount of damage. It's a little bit finicky to land the full thing because you're pretty much knocking them over and just like bulldozing. And because it lasts for so long, it's a little bit hard to cancel out of. So, you know, things to keep in mind. You can definitely do this at like you can definitely do it at like funky angles and other things like that in order to clothesline certain people. But there goes the max activation. So you got our little fins out and all that good stuff. Attack and speed are buffed. That hit his fucking shield. In general, pretty good traversal and stuff on this suit. Now, one thing to keep in mind, especially right now, and as we go into our demonstration match later on, is that it's pretty much just all F91s running around at this cost, because of course it is. You know, they're still introducing new 750 suits per week, more or less. But it's really hard to beat this, especially since it's the new boy in the block, and it's definitely something. So we're gonna show off this suit in action. It was actually a little bit hard to get a positive result in this thing just because everyone was going fucking ham with this, and it gets rough. And obviously when it gets out of its mode, you have not necessarily a stun, but it takes a second to fold everything back in. So keep that in mind because you might be a little bit vulnerable when that happens. But the cooldown, as you saw, not super crazy, not awful. And then you can just, you know, get some pips. Keep in mind that assists in things do count. So you don't have to be constantly like kill confirming the shit out of everything. It's not really that serious. But it is a nice bump, and the fact that it's redoable is definitely a plus. And then again right here, bam, and then you just go right back into it for a minute for the activation. The nice thing being that, of course, both of the melee on this thing can do aerial downswings as well. But we're going to show off our demonstration match right around here. Fucking run into my shit. think that's the other thing too, like it's weird to really see where the energy shield comes in when you have to have like a radio time and a switch in for it and also do an animation. Compared to how quickly people are reacting to getting stuns and the speed of the suit, the shield feels too slow. Yes, reactor be carrots. It is true. Can't really say I'm concerned about that though. I'd rather just win. Yeah, so I killed it anyway. Yeah, it seemed like it would have been likely. Oh shit. 3's like really uh-oh. 4 actually got slapped first. That's because the stupid Faz is there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Please get it. The Jagan? No. I'll probably mess with all that as we get later into the week. We're just trying to get some decent runs here. Oh boy. Oh, it's time to go. Come on, brother. Get over. No. Uh-oh. Get it. Bang, bang. Ah, no. Too slow, too slow. Oh my god. Oh, doing the colors on the shoulders actually covers up the numbers. Unless that's just a different panel. Might just be a different panel. Everybody with the extra melee funnel. Pretty gross. So yeah, not super great, but it did show off the mode and some other things, so we'll probably go with this one. Oh man, it's gonna look like this for a while, especially because 750 is mostly just level boosted bullshit. So we'll see how it turns out and what happens when the compositions all start to mellow out. Also, don't worry about that username. What dat? That's nothing. Not playing Zeta. I need to do F90 runs.
Making preparations for
also, I need to do my dailies for the other two accounts after this too. And that was our match in the F91. Overall, pretty fun, very hectic. I do kind of wonder how much this is gonna maintain over the week. Either as people, you know, give up on getting the suit or just start running, you know, other older stuff that's been introduced not only this week but in the previous weeks. Obviously 700 in and of itself has a lot of Psychomu heavy suits and things and stuff that has heavy attacks and more priority, because you gotta keep in mind, even though this is really fast and aggressive, oh god, that time where it deactivates is actually pretty much just like a small stun. It is just a priority to melee suit. Still insanely fast. And definitely has a lot to work with. You really got to be careful for the Vesper because of that ASL being on there. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it evolves at this cost range as more things are introduced and as people, you know, kind of move on and try other things that are put into the ecosystem for that cost range. But if you want to see me see them all through our matches, trying to run this in the F90 in the future, during the weekend and whatever, be sure to tune in over here on YouTube and or Twitch, since we do multi-stream our GVO2 dailies every day. And until next time, this is Gustav the 13th. I'll talk to you all later.